Good afternoon. I am going to read a story today that was written by Penny. It is truly one of my favorites and guaranteed to give everyone a chuckle. Here we go. The name of the story is The Word Game. When we were growing up, meals were a family affair at our dining room table. We each had our chores. Mine was setting the table. At the time, I thought that was very unfair, as I was called in early from playing outside. In the winter of my years, I cherished that one-on-one time I had with my mother as she patiently taught me proper place settings. I can still smell the faint fragrance of her Chanel No. 5 or Shalimar as she leaned over me to move a piece of silverware and explain just where it went and why. Always she would be in a dress, looking like a beauty queen to me. Daddy would still be dressed from court, minus the coat and tie. Of course, if company was coming, that was different. We were all expected to bathe early and dress properly. The dinner table was where we were taught both table manners and etiquette. Sharing our day was a given. I was born in 1949, and this was the mom during our formative years. Those were good days. One evening during dinner, my father announced that we were going to start something new. Each evening, we 4 girls were to take turns and bring a new word to the table. We were to say the word, spell it, and then use it in a sentence, after which we would go around the table and discuss it. This was to help with our vocabulary. Daddy loved us having good grammar and a very unique vocabulary. He actually had a dictionary in almost every room of the house. This sounded more like homework to us, yet Daddy was firm, and thus began the word game. It actually wasn't as bad as we thought and became a challenge. Finding that new word to please Daddy, we were probably into our second week. I had been up the street playing with a good friend, Mimi, when her mother came out and said Mama had called. It was time for me to set the table. I jumped on my little red scooter and halfway home remembered. It was my word night. I didn't have one. I flew into the house, frantically telling Mama I didn't have my word. She assured me it would be okay to just be honest with Daddy. He would understand. My young mind raced, desperate for a word, because as soon as that table was set, we sat down. Plates were served, small talk over, and Daddy turned to me. "It's your turn tonight, Penny. What is your word?" I put my napkin in my lap, sat up straight, and looked him straight in the eye. "Daddy, my word is poot. P-O-O-T. Mama made a poot today." Well, there were a very few seconds of eerie silence before he jumped to his feet, right along with Mama. I should say at this point, Daddy did not like bathroom talk of any sort. Now let's face it, the word poot is pretty innocent, but we were at the table and Daddy did not allow any such talk. "Annie Faraday, did she Pendleton hide? Did you?" And then he left the table, muttering, "Over. This game is over, Franny." Well, let me say right now, Mama was not thrilled either, because Mama certainly did not poot in front of us or anyone. I can honestly say I don't think I ever heard Mama poot in her whole life. Well, by then, my sisters were giggling like crazy, save Helen, 8 years my senior. She was sitting at the far end of the table, and she had her eyebrow raised just like Mama does, and said, "Really, Penny?" Mama talked Daddy into not calling off the word game, explaining how beneficial it was for all of us, and told him about my upset, not having a word that evening. I was simply trying to make him happy. All was good again. Well, until a week later, and it was Anne's turn to come up with the word. Daddy asked for her word. I'm going to save us all the embarrassment of putting that word on here, but I guarantee you the Nasas across the street heard Daddy. Ann Hampton, and that was the end of the word game.